We are right back. This is the final part of this video. We forgot to mention before, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think about this video and how we're doing it with this. Without further ado, let's get right into this. And now.
Studio album, Femme Fatale. Several producers who Britney had worked with in the past began hinting to the press in August of 2010 about recording with Britney. A producer named Darkchild being one of the first saying Britney's fans are going to be so happy in a few weeks. In a minute, I'm going to play some music that I think is the bomb for Britney. Danja, her collaborator on Blackout and Circus, teased Britney's new music as well.
We're getting things together. I've been actually doing tracks that I love, and I can't wait till we go into full production mode, but more so pre-production than anything.
So do you have any idea what direction it's going to be? Is it going to be, the club stuff? Is it going to be, where are you going to?
We can start one way and end up, a totally different way. I really don't know. I'm definitely going to do my part in trying to make it hard-hitting, up-tempo, high energy. That's what I think we need, and that's what I'm shooting for.
She's one of the biggest stars in the world. What's it like to work with in the studio?
It's so easy and fun, and it's one of the easiest, probably the easiest sessions I've had in my career, so I'm looking forward to getting back in.
Fans were getting extremely hyped at this point, as Britney had been releasing era after era for the past 3 years, and they were about to get another album. However, just 2 days later, all buzz for the album is killed off by Britney's team, with a seemingly threatening statement from Adam Lieber saying, "No new music news right now. Wish people wouldn't mislead you guys with BS info. Not cool. P.S. The guys that are working on Brit's next album are not talking about it." And with that, everything went silent for the month of August. However, Britney was still working, as the next month she was featured on an episode of Glee. But with that high came a major low, as on September 30th, Britney got the news from the judge that Andrew Wallet and Jamie Spears, her father, would remain her conservators and would continue to have full control of her finances and personal life. During the Circus era, Britney held out hope. However, all hope was gone. Britney officially had no control. However, her lawyers did give the great news to the courts, saying her mental health had improved dramatically. And interestingly enough, the press began releasing tons of articles featuring photos of Britney smiling and being happy, some even promoting her clothing line at Kohl's. However, Britney was not happy. Photos of her crying later surfaced from the same day, and the public got a glimpse into how Britney really felt. The facade that Britney's team had created had its first crack since For the Record airing, and this was the first of many glimpses into Britney's reality that we saw during the Femme Fatale era. But like clockwork, Britney's team shifted the focus off of the conservatorship and changed their tune about Femme Fatale, as just 1 day later, Adam Lieber officially confirms there is a new album in the works, and that her upcoming album would be a departure from what you've heard. And just 1 month after that, Dr. Luke confirms that Britney's album would be coming in early 2011. But just 1 day before Britney's birthday, Britney's relationship with Jason began being scrutinized by the media, as Star Magazine leaked what they alleged to be Jason Alexander and Britney Spears' voices discussing how she got a black eye.
How's your problems with your fiance?
It's not my fiance. I just wasn't on with her mom.
I thought he proposed to you or something at the beach.
Before or after he beat on me?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even know he proposed, and I was talking to my mom, and she was telling me, "Oh, Britney's engaged or something," and this was, I think, after you told me about him blacking your eye or whatever, but I don't know.
It's not true. It is true that he did that, but it's not true that I accepted it. And right now we're not together. Okay, but I did go ahead and change my number on him, so we're not talking, but he does still work for me.
Well, what, I thought he wasn't working for you anymore.
No, he still works for me. It's just, it's kind of like on the down low. I mean, my dad knows about it, but...
Right.
Well, like, my dad does not want him around me right now.
Doesn't sound like you buy it.
He's just waiting to use it.
Radio Online, a publication owned by American Media Incorporated, which also owns Star, doubled down on this, alleging that they had a second recording of Jason and Britney discussing about why she didn't report it to the police. In this recording, Britney responded, "Because I didn't want the public knowing about it, and I didn't want to file anything so everyone could find out. So I just left him and changed my number." Jason asks, "So y'all ain't no hanging out no more?" And Britney says, "No, we're not." Jason says, "Y'all ain't even talking." And Britney said, "No, and I'm going to tell you right now. I found out, and it'll probably be in a magazine in a couple of weeks. I found out from Larry Rudolph. He told me that my dad is going to fire him because he found out that he had pictures of us, like personal pictures for the paparazzi, and he plans on selling them and acting like we are still together so that he can get money off of it. So my manager Adam is probably going to release a statement, probably on Wednesday, saying that the pictures are going to come out. Jason cuts off Brittany saying, "What are they?" And Brittany replies saying, "They're just pictures of us, hanging out on the boat and acting like we are all happy and this and that." Brittany ends this conversation by saying the public doesn't really know that we are not together because I didn't come out and say so. I really don't know who to talk to about it. The origins of how Radar Online got this phone call is very controversial. However, when Starr subsequently reached out in the same article to Jason Alexander to confirm if it was Brittany on the tape or not, against Brittany's wishes, he said, "Brittany is in an abusive relationship. She told me that her life had turned into a nightmare." When asked about the validity of these recordings, Jason Alexander told Starr, "I completely stand by my story. This is absolutely my ex-wife Britney Spears on that tape. I grew up with her since I was in 4th grade, and I know what she sounds like. She's been calling me for years." Starr ended this report by saying that Jason Alexander had passed a polygraph test. As soon as this article was published, Britney's team retreated to every media outlet they could find. Larry Rudolph being the first, giving the exclusive to Access Hollywood, saying the story was fabricated and they were planning legal action as lawyers were amassing. A representative for Britney told TMZ, "It's so obviously fake as to be laughable." Suffice to say, Jason Trawick has never laid a hand on Britney. They went on to say the statements attributed to Jason Alexander are a complete fabrication, as Britney has not had any form of communication with Mr. Alexander in years. He also called out the tabloids for being irresponsible. He reported the same day Britney was seen showing up to William Morris Endeavor Agency with Jason Trawick and presumably her management team about taking said legal action. And the next day on her birthday, the verified Britney Spears Twitter account tweeted out saying, "I'm almost done with my new album, and it will be coming out this March. I am in LOVE with it." That was then followed up with, "Okay, off on a romantic weekend with Jason for my birthday. XOXO Brit. P.S. Star Magazine, Radar Online, Jason Alexander, and the rest of you liars, y'all can kiss my lily white Southern Louisiana." But that same day, Star Magazine stood its ground, saying they stood by their story that Britney Spears told her ex-husband Jason Alexander that her boyfriend Jason Trawick beat her. In a tapped phone conversation lasting for more than 1 hour, Miss Spears can be heard repeatedly telling Mr. Alexander how Mr. Trawick went crazy and hit her, giving her a black eye. Mr. Alexander passed the polygraph test administered by Starr, where he was specifically asked, "Did you record a phone conversation that you had with Britney Spears?" Despite the back and forth with Britney's team and the media, one thing is for absolute certain: Jason Alexander had told Star Magazine all about Britney's personal life. And as 2010 ended in scandal, Britney was preparing for what would be another busy year for her.
Petty child.
2011 was a monumental year for the music industry. Spotify had just launched in the US, and this completely changed the landscape of music sales and promotion. Katy Perry was still topping the charts, Adele began gaining major notoriety, and Bruno Mars was everywhere. So when Britney and her team were developing Femme Fatale, they knew it had to be innovative. Britney had been working non-stop since her conservatorship began in 2008, and there was no end in sight for Britney as the media began buzzing about her latest project.
She's set to drop a still unnamed new album in March of this year, and now we're getting word that the release's first single will hit airwaves on Tuesday, January 11th, and that is official.
A little over a week into the new year, Britney released the first single from Femme Fatale, Hold It Against Me, and it was a commercial hit. In fact, later that month, Britney Spears had become only the second artist in the US chart's 52-year history to have more than one single top the chart in its opening week.
The Jonas Ackerlund directed Femme Fatale single hit #1 on the Hot 100 chart in its first week it was released.
Hold It Against Me was the fourth #1 single of Britney's career, and would be the first music video shot out of 4 for Femme Fatale. It was going to be cinematic, high energy, and symbolic.
Britney Spears is set to release her heavily anticipated video in just a few days. This Thursday, right before a brand new Jersey Shore, MTV will host the world premiere of Hold It
Jersey
Against Me.
Shore.
It's also about sort of Britney just being strong and still on top.
Listeners are loving it, and it looks like Britney's back. And most of you said it was further proof that Britney still got it.
Looking forward to what we can expect from Britney's new album, Femme Fatale. And of course, we'll be looking to hear from fans to see what you thought of Britney's new video.
Look at them, they're so excited.
A group of U.S.
Nice.
decided to create a video of themselves lip-syncing and dancing to Brit's Hold It Against Me.
And the video featured Britney surrounded by cameras and microphones, Rising through a cylinder filled with screens of her old music videos, she begins fighting a clone of herself where she eventually collapses.
There are really two different Britneys. There's a public Britney and there's a private Britney.
That video we
They're very
recorded,
different.
we
Maybe
reacted to.
sometimes, the two Britneys are at odds with each other. Most of the times they're not.
Darkchild admitted in a February interview about Femme Fatale that Britney was extremely hands-on with this project. And with Max Martin and Dr. Luke confirmed to be a part of Femme Fatale, many considered this the dream team. As at the time, Dr. Luke was producing hits for Kesha and Katy Perry, whom just had one of the most successful albums in American chart history. And while there were hints of that
Keisha was
influence
talking
in the
about
final
that a lot.
project, Britney brought a fully realized aesthetic and sound as she was still working with her longtime collaborator Max Martin.
The second single off of Britney Spears' highly anticipated new album has just been posted on the internet. It's called Till the World Ends.
But later that month, Britney's schedule was filling up even more as the official Femme Fatale press tour was to begin.
Good morning, America. I'm excited to tell you on Tuesday morning, March 29th, I'll be performing for the first time ever in a special concert in San Francisco's historic Castro District on Good Morning America. And I promise you, it'll be a morning to remember. See you soon.
She was recording the Till the World Ends music video, releasing and promoting the new album, and recording a short interview about the album for MTV. However, this interview would be much less personal than for the record, as I Am Femme Fatale was centered around Britney recording the music video for Till the World Ends and preparing for her first big televised performance promoting Femme Fatale. In an effort to illustrate how hard Britney worked on these music video sets, her team unknowingly exposed themselves for showing how hard they push and control every aspect of Britney's life and career.
You know, can we wrap this thing up? We're gonna go for 10 minutes and done. Sorry, 10 minutes and you're done. Oh my god,
The set was a little much. He filmed most of this video in an underground meat plant. It's just like grimy and it was gross and it felt like there was like poop everywhere when there really wasn't. It was just sweat and it was just disgusting sometimes.
When I Am Femme Fatale aired on MTV, you see a very well put together Britney, someone who had been pushed by her team, betrayed by her friends, released 4 fragrances, 3 major projects, and
They all
100
smell good.
shows in the past
Just not have
2 years.
one.
Earning money she couldn't even control herself, putting on an amazing show. The Femme Fatale press tour also served as a very enlightening era regarding the little to no freedom Britney had to speak her mind. As the process to be able to interview Britney was extensive, Carson Daly revealed this on Twitter when he came for Britney's team, saying, "I was just told my Britney Spears interview tomorrow on AMP Radio must be pre-recorded and submitted for approval by her management before it can air."
There they go.
Never that restricted. Even when I interviewed Michael Jackson, it wasn't anything like this. It's really insane. Someone called him unprofessional, and Carson responded saying, "I'm unprofessional, faking an entire interview? Just
Exactly.
shocked management won't let her do a normal interview. She probably doesn't even know," stating this had nothing to do with her, just her people. This press tour was a large indicator for where Britney was in her life. So much so that Sam Blatby used it as evidence for Britney to testify in his case against her conservatorship. Sam had continually fought for Britney to testify in his case. However, Britney's parents had successfully blocked this, deeming her mentally incapable of testifying in the past. However, Sam asked the judge to order a psychiatric evaluation on Britney to prove that she was capable of testifying, and even ordered his own psychiatric evaluation of the Femme Fatale press tour from the UCLA assistant professor of
She's
psychiatry,
capable.
Joshua Pretsky. Joshua is quoted saying, "In the Ryan Seacrest interview, Britney Spears is interviewed at length, and she responds logically and coherently to questions, evidencing logical thinking and mental competency. The edited interviews in the MTV video documentary also evidence coherent and logical thinking, responsiveness to questions, and mental competence. In my opinion, there is good cause to conduct an independent medical examination to investigate the conservator's claim that Miss Spears is not mentally capable of testifying, and the claim that she was not mentally competent to enter into a binding contract. This wasn't the only lawsuit that cited the Femme Fatale era for Britney's competency, therefore her ability to testify, as Britney's team often used the probate court to avoid situations where Britney would need to testify. An ongoing case against Britney's conservatorship and management for a fragrance deal with Brandsense and Elizabeth Arden had also used this reasoning. Brandsense said that they had set Britney up with Elizabeth Arden, the company distributing her perfume, and were contracted to get a 35% cut of the profits. In that suit, Brandsense alleged that Lou Taylor and Jamie Spears intentionally went behind their back and entered into a secret deal with Elizabeth Arden, essentially cutting them out of the deal. Forbes reported that because Britney had been declared mentally incompetent, which justified the conservatorship, her father and their attorney were able to keep Britney from being questioned under oath in a deposition for the lawsuit. However, Branson's fought against this claim, stating in this court document, Branson's intends to seek immediate relief from the probate court's order. The notion that Britney Spears is mentally or emotionally unfit to testify under oath is a sham. Miss Spears currently has the mental, emotional, and physical capacity to endure the strain of a months-long international concert tour, make numerous public appearances, engage in interviews with the media, and participate in numerous promotional campaigns for her various business enterprises, and maintain custody of her children. Deeming Britney competent threatens the mere existence of the conservatorship and would essentially put Britney back in control to hire whoever she wanted. So instead of fighting this in court, Britney's conservatorship agreed to settle and allegedly paid Branson's what they were asking for. This was already shaping up to be an extremely impactful era for Britney. When asked about the goal of Femme Fatale, Larry Rudolph explained, "I want them to know, when the fans watch this, I want them to know that Britney is back and better than ever. Not that she's ever gone anywhere, but she's back and she's better than ever." Britney seemed to be nothing more than a product to her team, like they were marketing a new iPhone. With every era for the past 3 albums, it was always declared that Britney was back, even though she had never taken more than 3 years in between each album. On March 25th, Britney released her highly anticipated 7th album, and it was very different for the time. It incorporated elements of dubstep, pop, and it had the electro sounds that Will.i.am brought to tracks like Big Fat Bass, but also the pop sound that Dr. Luke and Max Martin specialized in. Now, most of the aforementioned people were thanked in the booklet that came with the album. She started off thanking God and then got into warm thank yous to the team around her. But towards the end of her thank you letter, things went cold, as Britney separated the thank yous, saying professional thank yous go out to Ken Hertz, Seth Lichtenstein, and Tom Hansen for making sure everything is legal, and to Lou Taylor, Robin Greenhill, and TriStar for counting my pennies. At this point, Lou Taylor had weaseled her way into every member of the Spears family's lives. A woman who Britney originally labeled a stalker was now Britney's business manager. Subsequently, last of Britney's charity, the Britney Spears Foundation's funds were allegedly donated to 2 different charities, one of them being Mercy Ministries, an organization supported by Lou's husband's church, as reported by Roger Friedman of Showbiz 411. If you go to the website of Calvary Chapel, the church that Lou Taylor's husband is a pastor over, and go to their missions ministries, Mercy Multiplied, formerly Mercy Ministries, is the first organization on the list. Their website states Mercy Multiplied serves young women who face a combination of life-controlling
So they're on the same
drug and alcohol addiction, depression, and unplanned pregnancy. Mercy also serves young women who have been physically and abused, including victims of trafficking. However, a simple Google search reveals everything you need to know about Mercy Ministries, as several women former in 2008 shared their horrific stories with the Sydney Morning Herald. Nancy Alcorn, the founder and president of Mercy Ministries, is quoted saying, "We deal with areas of demonic oppression. If there's demonic activity, like if somebody's opened themselves up to the spirit of lust through, or lots of promiscuous activity or something like that, then we've opened the door for demonic powers, and secular psychiatrists want to medicate things like that. But Jesus did not say to medicate a demon, he said to cast them out. And that's supposed to be a part of normal Christianity." Instead of funding children's passion for the performing arts, the money was now going towards Mercy Multiplied. In a March video posted to her website, Britney teased that the Femme Fatale tour was going to be her best tour yet. And with Rihanna's remix of S&M featuring Britney on #1, Britney tirelessly rehearsing with Nicki Minaj as her opening act, she was ready to hit the road.
But no, we can't wait for the tour. So come on, what can we expect?
There's a lot of surprises in the show. I think the show is just more me than any show I've ever done. It's a lot of fun.
Have you actually missed being on the road?
Yes, I have actually. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life, definitely. It can be kind of grueling sometimes, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun. You know, you're somewhere different every day, and you never know what to expect, and it's a lot of fun.
Like a gypsy, you just
I
actually got to sit in the rehearsals, see the whole of the tour being rehearsed in this massive soundstage.
Britney would grace the stage performing nearly 22 songs in 5 different sections themed around powerful women throughout the ages. And to say the stage was elaborate is an understatement. The show was extremely high production and had a storyline throughout. And with nearly 80 shows across 4 continents, the nearly 700,000 fans who purchased tickets were awed as Britney was in her element.
Last night, I had the pleasure of attending Britney Spears.
Going to the Femme Fatale tour to see Britney Spears. And I've seen the recent Circus tour, which was good, but this felt like a Vegas.
What's wrong with her
Went to the
face?
show expecting, you know, that okay, it was gonna be a good show, kind of like Circus. It's a decent show.
It was like going to Disneyland and seeing like the fireworks or something. Like everything was just flawless.
She hit that stage. Okay, she hit that stage, and I was so ready for her. And the crowd went wild.
Highlight was
You
when she
gotta
comes
go
out
out.
with
Come on
these
now.
angel
It's
wings,
Britney
and it was Till the World Ends. And Nicki Minaj came out on stage and did like a really sick remix.
Yeah,
It was so good.
There was a lot going on stage. She had explosions, there was fireworks, there was fire coming out of different places.
That's that
and there
hard
was some
work.
Sexy ass dancers dancing on the platforms. There was aerialists and the whole deal, right? It would have been a great show from the nosebleeds, but right up front, it was amazing. I can't get over how beautiful she is.
And for all the people that said that Britney was lazy and that Britney wasn't dancing, clearly have not been going to the concert.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
That girl came out and proved everybody wrong.
the costumes, the choreography, the dances, just everything was so on point. Like Britney, you really
I'm
did
sure
put
it
on
looks
a
it.
show.
I came out of that show feeling so happy, and I can wholeheartedly say that Britney is back.
Needless to say, Femme Fatale was one of Britney's best tours of all time. Not to mention, she was doing multiple projects simultaneously while embarking on an extremely elaborate tour across the world. She even released Be in the Mix, the remix Volume 2. But as the Femme Fatale tour came to a close, Britney's boyfriend Jason Schreiber proposed, and thus she was now an engaged mother, working harder than she ever had in her life. The Femme Fatale era was a great success, and still has a lasting impact to this day, as TikTok picked the song back up in early 2020 and pushed it to be one of her most liked music videos on YouTube of all time. As 2011 came to a close, reflecting back, Britney worked the entire year and powered through some really tough times. And 2012 would hold major events for Britney.
As 2012 began, rumors were swirling about who would judge the next season of Simon Cowell's hit show, The X Factor. After leaving American Idol the previous year, Simon brought his wildly popular UK singing competition show to the US, and it was a major success. And with Paula Abdul and Nicole Scherzinger absent from the panel, Simon was on the search for the next major judge that would serve this next season. However, this wasn't an easy task, as being an X Factor judge wasn't just laughing at bad contestants and passing people through the rounds. X Factor judges were mentors to their groups and had to coach them vocally through each round. It didn't just take an eye for talent. You needed to care about your contestants. Not to mention, in the early 2010s, singing competition shows were all the rage, and The Voice, American Idol, and The X Factor were constantly trying to one-up each other. And with Britney Spears just getting off a huge tour, Simon saw her as an excellent candidate to end the popularity contest. On March 8th, The Hollywood Reporter alleged that Britney had been approached by Simon to be a judge on the panel for $10 million, and that Britney brings legitimacy as a successful reporting artist, something critics of the X Factor say was missing in last year's competition, as well as a level of unpredictability and drama that also was largely absent. Jason wanted to be an executive producer on the show to watch over Britney and was reportedly negotiating the deal for her. This wasn't the only step he was taking at this time to gain more control over Britney, as just weeks later, there would be a big change in her conservatorship. But even if Jason and the X Factor came to terms, this wouldn't be an easy contract to sign, as Britney has no freedom and her conservators would need to seek the court's permission before anything could be official. According to Section J of Britney's conservatorship, it is detailed that the conservators have the power and are authorized to pursue opportunities related to professional commitments and activities, including but not limited to performing, recording, videos, tours, TV shows, and other similar activities, as long as they are approved by Britney's medical team. On March 22nd, Britney's team is almost ready to sign the contract for her to become a judge on the X Factor. They would be able to sign on her behalf. However, a source told Radar Magazine that Judge Goetz wanted to talk to Britney in person to make sure this is something that she wanted to do and was capable of doing. The judge was extremely impressed, and Britney is very, very excited to become a part of Simon Cowell's show. The judge signed off. However, the deal was still not officially signed by Britney. Under terms of contract, Britney would be paid around $15 million a year. This would make her the highest paid panelist on any singing competition show, as she passed Jennifer Lopez's $12 million deal with American Idol. She would travel out of state for auditions as long as it didn't interfere with her custodial time with her sons. And the boys would be allowed to come to the set whenever Britney wanted them there.
Whenever.
Her sons were and still are her number one priority. At this point, Britney's conservatorship was taking in even more money, but Britney had enough. On March 30th, Radar reported that Britney had told her psychiatrist and her court-appointed lawyer, Samuel Ingham, that she's now ready to go it alone. Britney has said that she feels she is ready to resume control of her life. She expressed this sentiment on multiple occasions, but her doctor believes that Britney isn't ready for the conservatorship to be lifted. She has come a very long way in the last 18 months especially, but her team wants more time. Yes, Britney does live on her own with Jason, and her dad hasn't lived under the same roof with her for years, but she just wants to be able to call her own shots. Britney doesn't have a problem with the conservatorship staying in place for her business. Remember, she doesn't have any formal custodial rights as far as her children are concerned. Kevin has agreed to essentially joint custody, but in the eyes of the law, she has no rights. And Kevin can revoke the agreement that is in place at any time because of the fact that Britney is still under conservatorship. Britney was approved to do a live, nationally syndicated television program that was earning her conservatorship $15 million, but wasn't approved to control her own life. And as April began, Britney and her conservatorship were in the spotlight again.
A judge has approved Jason Trawick, who is the fiance of Britney Spears, his application to become Britney's co-conservator.
But not in managing her assets. That is overseen between her father and another attorney. This new decision now means that the pop star's father and fiance will have legal control over her general well-being.
Gerald S. Cohen, a probate attorney of Jamie Spears, was quoted saying, "This is a very unusual situation because generally you don't see conservatees get married. Keep in mind, this is before the X Factor deal that Jason was heavily involved in was official, as nothing had been announced yet." Towards April's end, Jason was granted the role of co-conservator to manage Britney's personal affairs. Jason Trawick would be around Britney 24/7, having full control over her day-to-day life. Daily Mail even reported that Jason and Jamie would work together to restrict Britney's internet access and that she would have to use Jason's phone if she needed to make a phone call or send a text message so he could
I'm
log
like,
the call.
everybody could take control except for her.
With the probate conservatorship, as the rights to receive visitors, telephone calls, and personal mail are classified as a personal right under California law. But in rare instances, these personal rights can be limited by a court order. Robinson and Henry PC wrote in an article about conservator abuse, "Be wary if there are sudden limitations on contact or personal access to your loved ones. A crooked conservator won't want family members to know what they are up to, and they often arrange for the conservatee's isolation to prevent interference." Watch the people involved with the conservatee's case. New attorneys, caregivers, accountants, or helpers are often colluding with the abusing conservator. A man who was accused of putting Britney in harm's way was now working with her father, helping to call the shots. A few weeks after Jason took control and months of speculation about whether Britney would be joining the X Factor panel, it was officially announced that Britney Spears would be joining the show for its second season, and that same month, the auditions process in front of the judges began. This portion of the season was pre-recorded and filmed through July, scouting all the talent that 5 major cities had to offer. And after filming, Judge Ghost wanted to see Britney in person to ask her how she was doing with her new job. Britney said that she's enjoying it and is looking forward to the live show. A source told Radar she admitted that being on the road for auditions wasn't her cup of tea because of the long hours, but it wasn't anything to be concerned about. This news caused a ripple effect within multiple lawsuits Britney's conservatorship was involved in. Previously, Britney's father's legal team and her court-appointed attorney had used the probate court to prevent Britney from testifying in the Sam Lutfi case, citing that Britney wasn't mentally competent to testify as a witness. However, Sam Lutfi told media outlets that if Britney Spears can pull in $15 million to judge X Factor, she sure as hell is competent enough to testify in court, and it allegedly even included a DVD of Britney on the X Factor to show that she was, in fact, competent.
think
However,
it's just
Judge
money.
Ghost later ruled that putting Britney on the stand would cause her irreparable harm and immediate danger, and Jason Treywick would testify instead. The same team and judge that both signed off saying Britney was mentally competent enough to be on national live television, judging different contestants in front of millions, had just denied that she was competent enough to testify on her own behalf, and still ran with the notion that Britney was unfit to have control over her own life. Something as simple as hopping in her Mercedes to get iced coffee had never been something she could easily do, as the media had taken her freedom in the past years, but now Britney was fighting an entirely new beast. Her supposed fiance, the court of law, and her own family. This wasn't just something difficult for her to do, it was something she was not allowed to do. Britney was fighting an uphill battle, and it would only get worse. As the X Factor was gearing up to premiere, Britney and Simon Cowell embarked on a press tour to promote the show.
I didn't know much about her, and I was fascinated when I watched the show back because there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes where I think you really get to know Britney as a person. And she's fun, has a great sense of humor, and she's got a lot to say about the contestants. But the best thing for me is that she actually cares about the talent. And I think it's going to be a great mentor.
Well, thank you, Simon.
But it's true, and I think
Very nice.
you're a great inspiration for them.
Well, thank you. They were inspired themselves.
And as the X Factor premiered, Britney was the star of the show. She developed a friendship with fellow judge Demi Lovato and was critical but fair. Multiple contestants auditioning had storylines revolving around Britney.
As soon as I heard that Britney was going to be a judge, and I knew that I would get the opportunity to stand in front of her and sing.
You just feel a connection, right?
Yeah, I think she might be my sister. Look like her though, I should be the Black Vegas. Honestly, I thought about that, but I figured it would be like too creepy.
3 years ago, I did a duet.
Did you really just say that,
like 10 years
dude?
ago. We did a duet. Was the most amazing thing for my family, my life. It's the most amazing thing.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Don Phillip.
Oh my god.
You know her?
I know.
From where?
I used to record with him a long, long time ago.
Seriously?
Really?
Like 2 years ago.
I never thought I'd see you again.
Brittany, I love you, honey. I love you, Brittany, beautiful.
Brittany, he loves you. Did you love him?
I'm scared I'm related to you or something.
She was well received throughout the show's audience, and when it came time for boot camp, a process where the judges were assigned their own group of contestants, separated by age group, Britney needed to call in a fellow mentor for the teenage category. She invited none other than her Scream and Shout collaborator, will.i.am, and the two had great chemistry. With boot camp wrapping up,
And you're going home, sweetie.
it was nearing the time for the live shows, and Britney was a hit. However, as the case with Sam Lutfi was thrown out of court and Britney crossed into another new year, she released a statement saying, "I had an incredible time doing the show, and I love the other judges, and I'm so proud of my team, but it's time for me to get back into the studio. Watching them all do their thing up on that stage every week made me miss performing so much. I can't wait to get back out there and do what I love most." And like clockwork, the same day she left the X Factor, her engagement to now executive producer of the X Factor, Jason Treywick, was called off.
That big breakup for the singer Britney Spears, the superstar and her fiance Jason Treywick calling off their engagement just a little over a year after he popped the question.
Jason and Britney have been having their issues for several months, but they put on a good front.
Treywick is no longer Spears' co-conservator. He once controlled everything from her finances to her food to her clothing.
He immediately resigned as co-conservator, with sources saying that he was only added to the conservatorship during her time on X Factor so he could keep tabs on Britney while she was on set. Britney Spears had made a major impact on pop culture, music, and the way the media treats people today. But as she headed into the biggest project of her career, things took a much more public turn. Britney had spoken her truth in private to her team multiple times, and in return, she was stripped of her basic human rights. And her truth was about to explode into a full-blown movement. And no one was prepared for the bombshells that were about to be dropped.
All of you who are concerned about me, all is well. My family has been going through a lot of stress and anxiety lately, so I just needed time to deal. But don't worry, I'll be back very soon.
Hey.
She'll be taking up a 2-year residency at the Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. She's been the princess of pop for nearly 20 years.
Britney is no stranger to making headlines, but now her father Jamie is sounding off about that hashtag Free Britney.
This morning, Britney Spears' father Jamie speaking out against the viral campaign hashtag Free Britney, calling it a joke and a conspiracy.
When there's a lot of money involved, nothing would surprise me.
They're hoping Britney Spears and the judge will hear them as lawyers went back to the courtroom in the battle over the control of the singer's finances and part of her personal life.
Coming soon.
Deep dive, you right.
Which will be the next video after this whole video and other videos in between. This is actually, dude, I'm tuned in. This is like a mini series. What it is, a mini series. It's like we're watching a Netflix show because we love watching Netflix shows, man. This is really good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day. And we will see you guys next time. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
More Britney coming soon.